Hey, friends, welcome back to another episode of Notes from the Edge. I am Lisa Lacey, your host, and this is the place where we have the conversations we should have been having all along. And here we talk about the things that we're not talking about. And today we have a special guest back for more because he had so much fun last time. Richard Spegal. We are going to be welcoming him for a second conversation. And what I love about Richard's work and why I wanted him to come back to talk on a deeper level was beneath his supernatural creatures in his book, Dangerous Worlds and Dark Moral Choices, his characters are unmistakably human. And we spend a lot of time in this space talking about what it means to be human. We humans struggle with grief, fear, loyalty, identity, responsibility, and the battles taking place in our own heads. And listen, I don't care if you have a label attached to you or not, you have battles going on in your head. And Richard understands that monsters do not arrive with fangs. Sometimes they appear as trauma, isolation, shame, self doubt, or parts of ourselves that we were taught to hide. And guess what? In this space, we bring those parts to light. So, Richard is an adult, dark fantasy, paranormal, supernatural, science fiction, and action author whose work explores morally complex characters and hidden realities beneath the supernatural. Before becoming a full time author, because nobody in this space has a straight line into what they're doing to help people now, he served in the United States Army for 21 years, including service with the 82nd Airborne Division and the Pennsylvania National Guard. His military career placed him in leadership and operational roles that continue to influence the discipline, conflict, sacrifice, and humanity found throughout his stories. Now medically retired from military service, he lives in Pennsylvania with his wife and four daughters. My goodness, I had one, Richard, and she almost took me out. I don't know how you guys are doing that. He is the author of, hang on, guys, I didn't put my phone on silent, Wolves and Ravens trilogy and the Eternal Nights series. These are adult fantasy worlds where supernatural danger collides with deeply human questions about all the things we talk about in here. Richard, welcome back, my friend. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me back again.
Yeah, I'm excited. We weren't done with our combo. We wanted to dig into your work a little bit more. So, this is the second time you're joining Notes from the Edge. And since our first conversation, what are you working on currently? What's your current book that you've got rolling out?
Well, at the moment, actually, the next couple are written. It's just a question of when to release them. Like, there's business decisions that kind of go into that decision as well. I was thinking like the very end of this year, but it might be very early next year. And then
Mhm.
maybe we're trying to settle on an ongoing time frame, like every 9 months, every 6 months. I'm still kind of debating that back and forth with the professionals.
It's so hard with books, isn't it? Because you just don't know. Like mine is due to go into pre-sale October 1st. We're in the second round of edits now, but you just never know how they come out. So, but I'm looking for that launch date of November 1st because the veil is still thin, and I think that date's pretty important. So I'm excited about that. So, one of the things I appreciate most about your writing is that your characters remain genuinely human, even when they're surrounded by supernatural circumstances. So, walk us through your writing process. How do you create these characters with emotional wounds and fears and internal conflicts and make them feel so real, so human, but in supernatural contexts?
The primary method I use actually is, well, the disorders I have kind of allow me to see and experience things that I probably shouldn't be seeing and experiencing. I take advantage of that into my writing, but the basic idea is not complicated. It's just nobody does it anymore. You make a character, you give them some traits, whatever, you do this, you do that, and then from that point on, the character has to act, talk, think, and decide like a real person. That's all
Right.
you have to do. No one does it, but it's so simple. And if you do that, the character takes care of the story for you. You
Mm,
cannot have them say what you want to say. You have to have them say what they would want to say. You cannot color the dialogue or the decisions because they're politically correct. You can't set things based on modern sensibilities, because if you do that, it's all fake.
It's flat.
The characters have to live their own lives.
Yeah, and readers can tell if you're not going all the way into it. They know. It's like with my memoir, I couldn't hold back. I had to tell the truth, because if in any section I was holding back, a reader's going to totally pick up on that, because our readers are, brilliant people. So yeah, totally. I love that. So you get the basic down and you let the characters speak to and through you, right?
Yeah, that's why the modern entertainment industry has been failing so badly, because whatever it is, movie, TV show, whatever it is, the characters are there begging you to like them. They're begging you, because the industry is desperate. So they are actually on the screen begging for your approval. But in reality, the character's not supposed to know you exist, because they're living in their world. So they shouldn't care about your opinion. So it's just the fakery. I don't think that's a word, but I'll make it. The fakery,
we make up words in here, Richard.
when you're an author, you can make up words, and you're fine.
You can. Yes, you can. I love that. Fakery. It's going into my dictionary. Yes. We need more real humanness, period. No sugarcoating. This shit's not easy. It's brutal being human. It's beautiful, but sometimes it's fucking brutal being human. And that's what we need to see in writing, so that we can see ourselves in it. Because I think that's the point as writers, that we allow our readers to see themselves in it. They can get lost in it. It's an escape for them. It's a reflection for them. Talk to me about that. What do you want your readers to experience and feel through your writing? And
they talk a lot about relatability. So a lot of thought goes into character creation, because you want the audience to relate to a particular character. And again, it's all wasted effort, because every one of you is a real person. Mm-hmm. So if the character is a real person, then you will automatically relate to them.
Yes.
It's really as simple as that. Now, of course, there's characters you relate to more than others, but every single character in my book you will relate to in at least some small way, because you're a real person just like that.
Yeah. And you see yourself in pieces of them. Yeah. Like early readers in my manuscript were like, I see myself in pieces of that. And that's what you want. Because at the end, when they close your book, you want them in a reflective state about their own lives and what's possible for them, or where they're stuck, or how to move forward, or how to deal with grief, or just be moved, right? And into another world. So now your characters frequently face battles involving identity, grief, loyalty, and control. How intentionally are you using dark fantasy to explore the battlefield of mental health? Because that's a big one for you.
I'm not, when I go to write a book, I'm not writing the book with the intention, I have all these dark ideas and I'm building the story around it. That's not what I'm doing. It's just as I keep saying, the characters are real and the story's organic. And because of how brutal the books are, and all of the struggles and everything, it just goes to that point. And the difference is I keep going and show it, which is what makes it real. And when you read it, you understand why it happened, because you kind of saw it coming for that particular character.
They couldn't see it, but you can. Yeah.
And that's where a lot more the relatability comes into play, because nobody's immune to stress.
Nope.
So
all right now.
Yeah, even just like little things like hitting all the red lights or something like that can piss you off for a little while or something. And that's fine. But that's the part that makes you human. And when you remove that element from the story, you have created nothing but fake, zany nonsense.
We're making up all kinds of shit in here today. I love it. Oh my gosh. All right. I want to know, how do you go from the military to dark fantasy author? How does that happen?
Well, I was already, I've been writing for a long time. So the primary difference is just that as I was phased out of the military, I was just able to put more time into it. It was
Gotcha.
towards the end there when I started getting my diagnoses and realized that I probably honestly wouldn't be able to get another job anyway. So
Mm.
it's now or never.
So you had to leave.
Yeah, didn't really have a choice.
You're
So
like, there's nothing else I
it's
can do but write these
well,
books. I'm unemployable now, guys.
I may have
Richard,
said
I have been working for myself since I was 21, dude. I'm so unemployable. It's not even funny. Yeah.
I may have said that the wrong way.
No,
I mean,
you said it perfectly.
I love what I do, but
Yeah.
you have to put food on the table. And
Yes.
my other jobs put food on the table.
Yes.
It wasn't until it was a blessing in disguise when I was faced with these, hard decisions to make when like I'm told not to use the word insanity, but it's my brain. I'll use insanity if I want to. But
Yes.
realizing that insanity that helped me was also limiting my functionality in the regular world. It forced me to make that decision that I may have been too afraid to make had that not happened. So it was a blessing in disguise.
Wow. That's huge. And I don't want us to gloss over that. I want to circle back to the meaning behind that, my friends, because so many times in life, we think bad stuff is happening to us. But man, I firmly believe that it truly does. Sounds so damn cliche, but it all happens to get us to where we need to be to fulfill what our mission is here. Like, again, I was hospitalized at the beginning of this year, almost died from my congenital blood disease. And then I turned 50 right after. And I was like, you know what? I got to change the trajectory. Like, it was like it was a fucking overnight pivot. I'm a writer now. This is what I'm doing. I've got to get these stories out into the world because the psychiatric arena has it wrong right now, I think. I think so many of us are treated inhumanely. I think the minute we walk into an institution, we lose our damn dignity, and we are not paperwork, we are not labels, and we are not our diagnoses. So it was a must that I have 3 other memoirs behind this one, but this one needed to be told first. And with my congenital blood disease, the mean age of existence is 54. I'm 50. And I was like, I have to tell, I can't leave with these stories still stuck inside of me. I want to see some reform. I want to see some change. I want somebody to read my memoir and go, you know what? I'm a clinician. I'm going to treat my next patient with a little bit more damn dignity and respect. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, definitely. And especially when you're looking at the years that you have left, because, I'm on so many medications, and like and when I was going through all of the learning, talking to like clinical pharmacists and stuff like that, nobody ever dies from what I have. They die from the medicine. So like the medication I take will probably take like 20 years off my life. And I've got so many more books I need to write.
But that keeps us going, right?
I know. Yeah. So like I need everything to settle down to where I can start that 6-month time frame, because if I don't put out one book every 6 months, I'll never get them done.
I love it though. One book every 6 months. What a great goal. What a great goal. And then your readers and your followers and your fans will, look forward to it as it's coming out. Well, Richard, I wanted because you and I have parallel journeys, because I had a full-blown mental health psychosis, like lost my mind, taking computers apart, thought spies were after me, like out of this reality. And I don't think a lot of people that don't experience mental health challenges really understand what it's about, what happens, how to support us best. Talk to me about when you realized, whoa, I'm starting to tap into other realms here, literally. Talk to me about those moments for you.
Well, it was always kind of there in the background. Because like I said, I've been writing for a really long time, and it was always kind of there. But I was also always very busy with other work.
Right.
Like, my mania made me a highly productive individual.
So right? Like, isn't mania awesome? Yeah. Like you get shit done.
So like from my perspective, everybody else was just too slow. and I made all the money. But then all of the sudden, for the very first time, because I got sent to a hospital unit for nerve damage. It had nothing to do with me being crazy. But for the very first time in my life, I didn't have anything to do. And it floored me. Like I was getting hit from all angles. Like I was getting the depressive episodes. Like these things in my head were just so real that I couldn't function. It to me, it came out of nowhere. And that's when I started. Thankfully, I'm fortunate that I was in a soldier recovery unit. So like we had doctors and care teams. I was able to talk to people. It took a few years, but I was able to get a much greater understanding of, I don't want to say what was wrong with me because I don't like saying it like that, but what was different.
Yeah.
And
because the question is not what is wrong with us. That is not the question to be asking.
Exactly.
It's what happened to us. It's what we were survived, what we adapted to, and how we can best be supported, because there is nothing wrong with us. We are just built differently. And what is different about your experience and my experience is, Richard, there was no place for me to go. I had already been through a dual diagnosis rehabilitation center for addiction recovery, and I was sober at the time, so couldn't go there. And I wasn't suicidal, I wasn't homicidal, couldn't go there. So you're so fortunate that you were in the place that you were in to get high quality care. And I think so many times people that struggle with severe mental health crisis have nowhere to go.
Yes, I agree with that. And it sounds like in some ways we're both trying to kind of do the same thing with our writing as far as raising awareness.
Yeah.
It was not initially my intention, but after I really thought about it and I read my writing and stuff like that, I do hope that because it's brutally detailed in a way that's real. It's not the stuff that you see on the media. So you think you understand what mental health issue is. You think you understand how suicidal ideations go, but you don't. Yeah. But I've got it in my writing, and maybe that will help awareness to some extent.
I love that, because then people have an insider's perspective.
Exactly. That's the idea.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly the idea. And I think the hope is we'll do two things. We'll bring hope to people that are struggling, that, hey, you can be functional with the right kind of support, the right kind of setup, depending on how you're built and designed. I reached a level of stability, and then menopause hit, and I can't be treated because of my blood disorder, because the treatment causes clots. So I have to wing this. And they now have linked suicidal ideation with menopause in a lot of cases, which makes total sense, because I hit a full-blown depression I had never hit before. Like, I wasn't motivated. Like, you know the motivation. It's like you're motivated, you're not motivated, but you want to do the thing, but you can't do the thing because you're not motivated, because you're depressed, because you can't do the thing. So It's like this nasty cycle. And it snuck up on me because nobody's talking about menopause and depression. And there was a study that just came out in 2025, finally, that is linking the two. So for me, it was that I had years of stability and then had this hit. And so I'm so fortunate. Now, see, I was fortunate too that I could pay for high quality care, right? I had corporate funds that I could pay for high quality care. I got one of the top-notch holistic psychiatrists who uses medication when he has to, but he uses supplements when he can. He's top-notch. He's always up on the latest brain science. But again, not everybody has access to those resources, and that's really, really, really frustrating. So I think if we start with step one, that, hey guys, let's humanize people in mental health crisis first, and then we can take it from there. But yeah, I don't think people understand it. Let me ask you this, my friend, for you, because I think for our friends and our family, and well, half my family, anyway, half my family's out. But for the people that love, care about us, and that we're in service to, and they're in service to us, how can they best support us? Because it's an awkward, uncomfortable situation for them too. I don't think they know what to say. I don't think they know what to do. what supports you the most? Like, how does your wife support you through this? How do you guys work that out?
Honestly, the biggest way a person can support someone who you suspect has this kind of concern is to first admit you don't have a clue what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're
That's
talking
great.
about. You
It's
are
above
not
your pay grade.
you are not a seasoned professional. Everything
Mhm.
you've ever seen or heard is wrong. You have no idea what to do or say. And then you approach the person that way.
Yeah.
You approach the person from the perspective of, like, I'm here, but I'm not trying to tell you how to fix yourself.
I'm here, Richard. Oh my God, those are the best words ever. Just, I'm here. I'm here with you. I don't know
It
what to do. I
it
don't.
took
I
my
can't.
wife it took my wife a long time. And then
Oh,
there's also language barrier. So I did my best to get some things translated into Chinese and stuff for her. But when she would, like, come into the bedroom and I'm pacing around like a crazy person, bawling my eyes out like my parents just died because of things that I'm seeing,
yeah.
she has no idea what to do about that.
Right.
But she learned, and
Yes.
she's a saint. Like, she helps when she can. Because when you get into these states, like, there'll be days of not eating and things like that. Like, I can't. There are periods of time where I can't take care of myself. I'm
Yeah.
fortunate to have a wife who assists with that and took the time to learn how to deal with somebody like that instead of
Yeah.
just assuming she knew better.
I love that. First, admit it's above your pay grade, and then
Yeah,
go to the person and say, I'm here. And then figure out what next steps are to get the right clinical support around you. Find the resources. When you dig, you can find the resources. They are out there. They're just not always readily and easy to find. But again, you hit the I always say head on the nail, but it's nail on the head. With I'm here, right? Not trying to fix it, not judging it, but just being there in that moment, present for it. And it can be scary and it can be terrifying and it can be confusing. But if you are a calm presence in that, that helps tremendously, correct?
yes, because
Yeah.
if you're like I said, like I'm here, like, you're there and you're open to it and you're not pushing,
Yep.
the other person will slowly open up to you because they will feel safe.
Safety is key, and also the emotional regulation, right? Because we're energy and you can feel that. And if their energy is all frantic and your energy is already frantic, then you've got a hot mess on your hands. So I think that's great advice for people to support those of us that struggle. My husband does the same thing for me. He just, you know, make sure I'm aware, because sometimes I'm not aware of if I'm in a manic state and I haven't slept. And again, menopause causes severe insomnia, which you would well know is not great for mental health. So we're really in the process of this adjustment. And he too, he has ADHD and he's on the spectrum. So he deals with his own brain stuff, but see, our brains are different, right?
Right, right.
So most of the time we're like it'll be 60-40 or 80-20, but boy, when we both hit like 20% at the same time, those are challenging times for us. And we're both in sobriety. We've been sober together for 8 years. We met with 30 days clean. I was fresh out of the institution. I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but anyway, I'm glad he came into the picture, because now uh, we have we have a friendship, a foundation of friendship where we still like each other. And if you have that, then you're willing to stay and support and move through those tough moments when your partner can't carry all the weight. There's a relationship is never 50-50. Just isn't.
Right. Yeah,
It
and
just,
it's bad for a lot of soldiers because, on the one hand, the military likes to preach awareness. They have a whole month set aside for it, I think April, if I remember correctly, where they will preach awareness for suicidal awareness, mental health awareness, and everything. But in all actuality, you're punished for it. They have no
Oh
idea what to
no,
do.
really? I
They,
was unaware of this.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. Even where I was in a unit designed for soldiers to recover. I was punished for my illness by the chain of command. It
You
was
mean, in
bad.
other words, don't talk about it, don't like,
Exactly. You
okay,
have
it
to,
doesn't exist.
if you
Yeah.
want to maintain your military career for a long period of time, you have to lie on almost every assessment you're always given. You have no
Man.
choice, because if you answer the wrong question the wrong way, well then you're done. The chain of command is just going to crush you. But they're going to say how they're aware of these situations. Because I was a captain, I had to give these same briefings, and it's like, and I would cringe because yeah, it's awareness, but this information is all wrong. This
It's
isn't how
just
you handle it.
information. Also, it's not action. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
support. Yeah. It's just saying words.
Exactly. And like because I had when I was at my lowest point, and I was inpatient for weeks to get me safe again, and then they released me because it was okay. And then that's when the chain of command crushes you. Well, you're going to be high risk for a few months. Why? Which then sends you into a depressive episode, including more suicidal ideations, which keeps you high risk longer. I mean,
Right.
and the problem with suicide is that you can never interview the victim. So we all decide the reason, but we'll never know the reason. And that is a horrible problem in the military, where people, in my opinion, and I don't care who hears me say it, in my opinion, a lot of the unfortunate suicides were driven there, and they
Right.
could have been helped if the people around them, and more importantly their superiors, approached the situation the correct way.
I
I
believe
get a
that.
little worked up. I get a little worked up with that stuff.
I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly. When I've been in, and again, that depressive state that I hit right after my surgical menopause, and estrogen drops 95% in 2 days, never to return for surgical menopause. And nobody fucking told me that. And I was having ideation. Um, it does something to just be able to tell somebody. Sometimes that alone is enough if they're a safe person to talk to, if they've proven that they're going to be supportive. And again, they're not trying to fix you, they're not trying to judge you, they are just there. And then you can decide what steps or what clinical therapeutic support is required from there. But yeah, I believe we lose a lot of people because of the shame and stigma around suicide and suicidal ideation. And I tell you what, Richard, here's what I believe. I do not believe there is a human being alive who hasn't at least brushed against the thought of checking themselves out. I
I'd
just,
agree with that.
yeah, I think we've all at least brushed against it. Now, some of us struggle with it more than others, but it's a conversation that has been brought up a lot. There's a lot of shame. Even we had a guest on the other day, Lisa Sugarman, who is an advocate for mental health. She lost 3 people in her life close to her to suicide. And, she brought up a good point that the language we use, committed suicide, right? Sounds like you did something bad. You're a bad person, instead of suicided, or changing the language around it. That alone can help lift some of the shame and some of the stigma around it. I mean, even families feel shamed about talking about it, their own grief, when they've lost somebody, because of how we've done. And the numbers are staggering. And I found out recently that the highest suicide rate for women are ages 45 to 64, which happens to be
Really?
during that perimenopausal
I
menopause.
did not know
Yes,
that.
that's globally too. That's globally, which happens to be around, guess what? Perimenopause and menopausal states. So we need, yes, the awareness, yes, we need the information, but we also need the actions backing the words. And again, we need to admit, you know what? We've all considered it at least one time in our lives. I don't care who you are. It's human. It's human to go, man, I don't like this, right? I don't want to live this way. And I believe sometimes it's not even the desire to check out completely, it's the desire to want things to change so badly, and we just don't know how to get something to be or feel different, right?
Yeah. In Broken Angel, the conclusion to the Wolves and Ravens trilogy, I have two separate scenes with characters in suicidal situations, and I go into real detail about the situation and the actual conversation that happens between the suicidal individual and the person trying to help them. And it's what a real conversation would be if people knew what they were talking about.
I
But
love
when
that.
you go to these, we listen to these briefings, and everybody's idea is the same. We have to find a way to basically tell the person they're wrong.
Mhm.
We're trying to find a
Something's
nice way to
wrong
do
with
it.
you. Again, we're
Yeah,
coming back to that. Something's wrong
exactly.
with you.
You're
You're
wrong. You're
defective.
being selfish, blah, blah, blah. But you
Yeah.
don't understand that from that person's perspective, you are being selfish.
Mhm.
Like now, I can only talk about like long term. I know there's a lot of categories of suicides that happen very, very quickly. I'm
Mhm.
talking about people that suffer with it for a long time. From their perspective, I'm done, and this is the only option. You're trying to stop me, which makes you bad. You're
Yeah.
being selfish because you'll feel guilty when I'm gone. I don't
Mhm.
care about your guilt. I just want to rest.
Yeah.
It can be, and that's kind of the opposite of how people would approach the situation. Most people just make it worse. Like
They
if you're not a professional, you need to just get the person to a professional and don't try to be a superhero.
Well, I read an article just yesterday that professionals aren't even trained on how to handle these situations skillfully. How is that? How is that that in the clinical therapeutic arena, professionals are not being trained on how to handle suicide ideation with skill, care, grace, and support? So it's going to require us to keep having the conversation about it, I think, and normalizing it, right? It's
Yeah,
human. It's human.
and that is unfortunately true. It's just you gotta play the odds. Your odds are better with a professional than the dude that lives next door. You gotta, and
I don't want the old lady next door. I don't
the
think she's gonna be much help. She can
the
barely walk.
best thing you can do as a family member, a friend, whatever, you cannot fix it. So if you try, you just failed. The best thing you can do is increase the other person's comfort level enough that they're open to listening to a professional. That whole I'm
Ooh.
here kind of thing.
Yeah, I
Because if
love
you,
that. Increasing their comfort level so
yeah,
they're open enough to talk to a professional. When I was I was 15, that was my first attempt when I was 15 years old. And it was so unexpected because I was captain of the cheerleading team, I was head of the drama department, blah 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 blah, all the high functioning shit. And I still remember this till this day. The psychiatrist came into the ER and talked to me, and I told him, I said, I'm not talking to you. You'll have to commit me. I'm not talking to you, because I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't understand it, right? I didn't understand what I had done. And this was after having my stomach pumped and all that. So I was recovering from that. And the physician went outside and told my mom, Lisa is emotionally immature and she needs some additional support. And my mother said, fuck you. There's nothing wrong with her. We're checking her out AMA. And Richard, I didn't get the help I needed until I was 40 years old. So, yeah, that's in my memoir, too. She asked me the other day, she goes, what's in your book? She was like, is it that your brain broke or is it why your brain broke? I was like, yeah, I know what you're getting at. Yeah, you're in there. You're in there. Yeah. Yeah, I had to
it's
go light on her though, because I just don't want the fallout. But I did have to put her in some places because she's my mother, and she had a bit of an impact on how my brain developed. So I love this chat. I love that you're so open about it. I think if we have more of these conversations, we normalize the word, we change the language, and we give people that are struggling hope. right? That you
Yes.
can move
Yeah.
through those moments and get to a place of meaning. You and I are living our purpose right now, and we're on fire with it, right? You're writing and writing and writing and turning books out, and our podcast is now globally ranked just in 45 days, which is amazing. My book comes out. It's something that I'm here for, right? I'm here for it. People need something to be here for, but we've got to get them through that moment first.
Yes. And people need to know you never tell the person they're wrong.
Yep.
The question you should be presenting is why.
Yeah.
Most people will actually tell you. I mean, if you're just so why are you doing this?
What's going on?
You'll actually get some information that might open a conversation where you can get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
Just never tell them they're wrong.
Yeah. Because that's what happened in the hospital. And what did I do? I shut down in front of that shrink, right? I was like, I'm not talking to you. You just approached me like an asshole. I'm not talking to you. I don't even know. Why am I here? You guys just put me through hell. So yeah, open the door, right?
Yeah.
Open a window, right? Get your
My
pinky toe
doctors,
in.
like I talk to a lot of doctors every month, and they talk to me like my disorders are a fantastic advantage, because
I love that.
you're using this to write so many books and things like that. That's amazing. So
You're channeling it. Yeah.
let's just give you what we need to give you to keep you grounded. But let's acknowledge the fact that this is actually a good thing. So I
I
love the
love
fact that
that.
they talk to me that way.
I love that. I love that you have a good team around you. And I think that matters too. Having the right team. And listen, my friends, if you're out there and you do need additional support, it's a relationship with people. And if you don't like the first one, go to the next one, and then go to the next one, and then go to the next one. You will find somebody that's a good fit for you. But don't get turned off just because the first person you talk to might be too young or not knowledgeable or put you off. So just keep trying to find that right fit for you. They are out there. And again, you have the resources, you have 988, you have resources within your community. But the first thing is, Richard, is you have to admit it to yourself, right? You have to admit where you're at to yourself first before you can even articulate it to somebody that you love, care about, and is in service to you, and you're of service to them. So, first step is admitting it to you. Second step is finding somebody who has proven themselves to be safe. Because if you open up to the wrong person, it's going to shut you down, and it may shut you down permanently. And see, that's what I hate. And my friend, it's not the big stuff that takes us out. I don't believe that. I believe it's the last comment. I believe it's the last dismissal. I believe it's just the final straw. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's the little things. The little things build up. If you deal with the little things, you'll never have an emergency, because
Yeah.
it never has a chance to build up. But it is those little things that'll get you.
Yeah. Yeah. It is the little things. It is the little things. Okay. So you've got these great conversations in here. You're opening up the door to talk about mental health in a way that people can fall in love with these characters or hate these characters or however they feel about these characters. What do you hope we, as the reader, understand differently about monsters in the story, or parts of themselves that they may be scared of or be judging or trying to hide?
I think it's just important, a couple fold. I want the reader to be completely immersed in a different world that is as real to them as the normal world, so they can enjoy it more. But then for them to see that it's gray. The good guys have to go through a lot of dark things.
Yeah.
The bad guys maybe started out good. There's no
Yeah.
such thing as victory without loss. And that
Mm,
is, and seeing that and hopefully reading that helps you. Oh yeah, you accept that is true in the real world, and maybe
yeah.
that does help some people.
Life is gray. And some of us have brains that are very black and white in our thinking until we're able to have tools to see the gray.
Yeah, and
Um,
there's nothing wrong with that. People think there's
no,
something wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
no, there's nothing wrong with us at all. And all brains are built and designed differently. And I think that once you get to a place where you know how you tick and click, right? You know how you operate, you like yourself as a person, you're not judging yourself, you can articulate who you are to the people around you that are there to support you. Life changes exponentially and your relationships actually deepen, even though and in spite of struggling with such great mental health struggles. Like, my relationship with my hubby is deeper now. My reconciliation with my daughter is deeper now. Like, we have tight bonds. But it took a lot of work, but we got there. So it is absolutely possible to be highly functional and somewhat stable on some days, and have support around us on the days that we're not. But friends out there listening, if you're catching this and you're having one of those off days, we want you here. You are needed here and you have a mission here. And see, Richard and I figured out what it is. That's the thing. When you have meaning in your life, it's easier to move through those moments. And I'm not telling you still don't have them. I still have them, right? Especially now because I'm trying to wing the biggest neurobiological change that women go through. So, and it starts in the brain. Estrogen really affects the brain, and nobody talks about that. And when you don't have any of it, and I've got zero of it in my body, it really, really changes things. But when you find meaning, then there's the hope, right? And hope is what keeps us going. The hope of finishing the next book, the hope of getting to November 1st to launch mine, the hope of this podcast continuing to grow, the hope of me continuing to connect with amazing people like you. So if you can get through the moment, the meaning and purpose and hope is there. You've just got to figure out what that is for you as an individual. Am I right?
I agree with that.
Yeah, right on, man. Right on. Well, Richard, man, we could talk for hours. We really could. We could talk for hours. So, all right. Tell us the books that are coming up. Tell us the books that are coming up. What's the next book?
Well, I guess the next book would be Eternal Night's Separation.
Okay.
Maybe by the end of this year, maybe early next year.
Perfect. And what book okay, if readers are new to you, what book do you want them to start with?
Well, book one.
Okay. Book one. Easy peasy.
So I've got the two series. Each of them has a first book, so it kind of depends what you like the best. Like if you like the whole pure fantasy route, then start out with Wolves and Ravens.
Okay.
Book one.
Okay.
The First Law. If you like the whole idea, like the vampires, modern world, futuristic kind of thing, then start with Eternal Nights, book one, Redemption.
Perfect. And where can we find you? I'm going to put it all here, but where can we find you?
I like to direct people to the website, richardspegal.com. The spelling of my last name is right above my head up there somewhere.
And it's here. It's here too.
And my Instagram is at Richard Spegal Books. My Facebook is Richard Spegal. But the website is great. There's movie trailers for each book, all sorts of behind-the-scene videos. There's links to a lot of the podcasts like this that I've done, so you can see other things and support those artists and hosts. And obviously, everything's on Amazon everywhere, but the website's got the most stuff.
You've got a good website. Yeah, it's spot on. So guys, go check out the website. I'm going to put the link right down here so you don't even have to search for it. And Richard, I'd love to have you back again. You can be a regular guest. We'll come on. And what I love is we have parallel journeys. Came at it from different angles, but we're at a place in our lives where we are consistently moving forward towards our goals, right? And that matters because we have the goals and those goals can keep us going. So thank you for reminding us that the most compelling fantasy is not an escape from humanity, but it's a deeper examination of that humanity. And folks out there, if you're a clinician listening, please remember that we are human beings, okay? Richard's stories invite us into supernatural worlds, but the questions waiting for them there are profoundly real. What happens when survival changes us? What do we become when the world demands strength, but offers no space for vulnerability? And how do we find our humanity when we are fighting monsters within ourselves? So, Richard, remember, we always close out with 2 questions, and you may have the same answer or a different answer as last time, but we're going to ask, in your own life, what did you perform in order to survive? And how did life change for you when you dropped that role, that mask, or that performance?
My writing is the performance that I put on to keep myself surviving. That's like when I'm at my worst, that's kind of my catharsis.
I love that.
If
I
I'm
love
using the
that.
word right. I think I'm using that word right.
Catharsis, you got it.
Catharsis.
You nailed
There
it.
we go.
You nailed it. If we're making up words, that's cool too.
That's all right.
Because again, we're writers.
We can do whatever we want.
We can make up words. Fuck it. We can make up words. All right, last question. What do you wish we were talking more about? What conversations do we need to be having more?
The conversations we just had.
Right?
I don't know if you mean we, like the two of us, because we already did it. If you mean like we as the if you mean we as the general population, what you just saw, these are the kinds of conversations we have to have. That it's 2026 and there's still a stigma.
I know, it's ridiculous.
And when you identify, and the thing is, age matters. When you identify certain disorders and things like that early enough, the brain can actually adjust its chemistry.
I know.
So you can actually correct what should be a permanent disorder if you identify it early enough. Nobody wants to talk about it.
I always ponder what would have happened if I had gotten help as that 15-year-old girl, right? If I had gotten the emotional support I needed because I was emotionally stunted because I told the doctor off. I was a spicy little person even back then. So
we're both screwed because we're too old.
Man, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling 50. I am half a century old, my friend, but under the circumstances, dude, I think I'm holding up pretty well. I think you're holding up pretty well, and we're still out here doing the thing, helping ourselves stay here, having purpose, meaning, and helping others in the process. And man, that's what it's about. And I appreciate you so much. Hey guys, go grab Richard's book. He told you which ones to check out depending on what's your jam. Start with book 1. Makes total sense. And we'll be looking forward to the one that comes out in the fall. And I think Richard's going to be a regular on here because we need to have these conversations more so people understand what really happens in your mind when madness. So my memoir is Notes from a Certified Mad Woman. Madness and insanity, I'll use that word because I went insane, happen. So we need to educate people and educate people that are struggling that it's totally possible to live a life of purpose and meaning, and that's where it's at. So thank you so much for bringing your imagination, your experience, and your humanity into this conversation. And friends out there, don't forget, ask yourselves consistently, what are you performing in order to survive? Is it still serving you? And if it's not, what greatness can happen in your life if you drop the role, the mask, or the performance and start talking about the things that you haven't been talking about? Go to someone today and tell them the hard thing that's been on your mind, that's weighing heavy on you, right? All right, Richard, thank you so much, my friends. When you answer that question, I'm your host, Lisa Lacey. Welcome to the Edge. We'll see you next time.